Hello my friends, welcome to the Electric Viking. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Good to see you here on the channel. Now, Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, the world's greatest investor, has lost a little bit of his shine lately, but he's gained a $2 billion profit on his investment in BYD this year. And, well, BYD has just quadrupled its sales in August versus August in 2020 of last year. They sold more than 60,000 new energy electric vehicles. In fact, 61,409 in the month of August alone. That's 4 times more than they sold a year ago. In fact, more than 4 times. Now, that may be due to demand increasing in China for electric cars, but remember, there's over 400 EV companies in China. The market is massively saturated. Many companies are struggling. So what percentage of those new energy vehicle sales were plug-in hybrids or plug-in EVs, and what percentage were full electric vehicles? Well, around about half and half. So you can see that BYD's full EV sales are also massively increasing versus not only this time last year, but also the first quarter of this year. And what's happening is more than 80% now of BYD's vehicles are actually coming with a battery. Big difference versus the same time last year. It's possible BYD may sell 100% plug-in and full EV vehicles by the same time next year. I think, in fact, it's very, very likely. Now, this figure of 61,000 sales in China was a significant rise over the number in July, which was 50,500, an increase of around about 12,000 vehicles month over month. And BYD shares have just risen 5.5% as a result of these sales figures, as they should. For those of you who purchased BYD on my recommendation a few months ago, well, I'm proud of you. You've done well. Hold on to those shares. Don't sell them at a profit now. Keep them. By 2030, BYD will be one of the largest car manufacturers, one of the top 5 in the world. And for those of you who don't know much about BYD, maybe you're coming to this video for the first time, I'll put a list of all the videos I've created about BYD in the description. There's more than 20 of them. Please don't try to educate me about BYD in the comment section below. It makes you look silly. Guys, I've made more than 20 videos about BYD. This is not the only one. Go there and you can learn lots about the company. Now, what about BYD's competition in China? How's it going? Well, Tesla's sales in China are not going that well, but I'm not sure if that's because Tesla are intentionally exporting a huge number of vehicles to Australia and Europe, New Zealand, other countries from their Chinese factory and putting priority on those. That's possible. So let's ignore that for a minute. Let's have a look at NIO. Well, NIO's shit. NIO's sales were disappointing, and the reason is what I've been telling you all for a long time now. NIO doesn't make semiconductors. Guess who does? BYD. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I said BYD's sales are not going to struggle in the same way that companies like Toyota's are, because BYD is vertically integrated. They make the batteries, they make the semiconductors, they make many parts that go into an EV. So they're not going to face the same restrictions of companies even like Tesla, who are facing issues with semiconductor shortages. So NIO is complaining, saying the reason for their reduced sales this month, or last month I should say, is because of the semiconductor shortages. But for some reason, XPeng wasn't affected and XPeng sales increased. However, XPeng's EV sales are still only a fraction, just over 10% of the number of electric vehicles that BYD sold the same month. Now, the auto industry globally has been battling 2 big issues. Like I just said, the continuing pandemic and a shortage of semiconductors that go into cars. Fortunately, like I said, BYD makes semiconductors themselves. They are the world's only auto company that makes them. Now, I do believe Tesla is intending to make them as well. I made a video about that recently. I'll put that in the description as well. Now, BYD didn't provide any commentary around its August numbers. It didn't need to. The figures spoke for themselves. But in its half-year results last month, the company said profitability is affected to some extent by factors including rising prices of raw materials such as bulk commodities, such as the rising cost of lithium. Now, fortunately, BYD uses a blade battery which has a lithium iron phosphate composition, and iron and phosphate are very easy to get, very abundant minerals, and probably not likely to see high price rises. So at least those areas are sorted for BYD. It's just the lithium component. Now, despite issues that are affecting the auto industry, demand for EVs continues to climb, not only in China, but globally, as the Chinese government pushes development of the sector and gives out significant financial incentives to not only companies, but buyers of EVs in China. Now, China is expected to sell 1.7 million new energy vehicles in the first 8 months of this year. That's an increase of 600,000 versus the same period in 2020. Now, I believe they'll actually hit 2 million based on the numbers that I'm looking at right now. But let's get back to BYD. Now, for the first 8 months of the year, they've sold 266,500 new energy vehicles. So that comprises both full EVs and plug-in EVs. Plug-in hybrid EVs, I should say. Now that's an increase of 193% from a year earlier. And as you can see, month by month, the numbers just keep on getting better and better for BYD. Like I've said many times on this channel, now is the time to invest. Thanks for watching the video. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye.